The high-profile case against crime intelligence head Dumisani Khumalo and his co-accused has once again been postponed, this time to the 6th of November. Khumalo, who is requesting for his bail conditions to be relaxed, faces serious charges of fraud and corruption that have drawn national attention and raised concerns about accountability within law enforcement. The postponement is to allow the state to file an application for the review of the decision by the Chief Magistrate, Vusimuzi Mahlangu, to recuse himself. Mahlangu announced his decision yesterday. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi raised concerns over Mahlangu's handling of the matter at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Meanwhile, Advocate Tefo has accused Khumalo and his co-accused of harassment, claiming they are seeking relaxed bail conditions to return to work and continue intimidating others. For more on this, we're joined by SABC News reporter Lopang, Alamu, who has been following this story closely. Let's speak about the bail application and the conditions around it, but I also want us to speak about the recusal. In fact, let's perhaps start with the recusal. What precipitated it? How did that play out?
So, Oliver, what we understand to have happened was obviously the issue surrounding the Madlanga Commission and coming out of that. And now this is where the presiding officer in this case, the Chief Magistrate in this particular court, saying that he's unable to continue with this case. Now, this is after the allegations that were brought up in the Madlanga Commission, where he also claimed that he was subpoenaed to come and be a witness at the commission, and that is what he practically said were the reasons for his recusal. But now the NPA is saying, but we need to review that, because they were quite shocked, they were quite stunned as well by that particular decision. And now this is where the delays come in, and this is where the 3 accused in this matter who are now putting in this application to have their bail conditions amended, saying, but this is really not how things are meant to be. There are a little bit too many delays in this particular matter. And speaking on the bail conditions, so now the initial bail conditions said that all the accused, now this is Dumisani Khumalo and 6 others, were not allowed to go anywhere near their workplace now, and they cannot resume their duties. And now this application that they've brought forward says, but we've been cleared by an internal process within the South African Policing Service, and this means that we can now return to work, and that is what we want to do at this point.
Yeah. Okay, then let's talk about the bail conditions. Dumisani Khumalo wanted bail. In fact, he has not been able to make a full application and a hearing to that. And of course, there's now the postponement. He wants relaxed bail conditions. What are the bail conditions he currently has, and what specifically does he want relaxed there? So
one of the bail conditions, now these are the bail conditions that were set on the initial case, the case at hand. Now, this is with regards to the case surrounding this irregular appointment by the 30-year-old. Now, that included the fact that Dumisani Khumalo and his co-accused rather should not go anywhere near their workplace. Now, this includes interfering with some of their colleagues. This includes not entering the premises or having any kind of access to any work documents or anything work-related. But now they're saying, but we have been cleared by an internal process. So what's stopping us from resuming our work, basically? And also, what's stopping us from going back into these premises until the matter at hand, the first and the initial matter, has been resolved?
Yeah, and so the internal organizational disciplinary process, which has them cleared, seems to have no bearing and implication on the criminal process. However, the criminal process doesn't seem to precipitate them being suspended once again. How is that playing out in court, that conversation?
That's exactly what the state is saying, to say, but this is really just a juxtaposition of everything. How then do we expect us to conclude this particular matter if you've got access to sensitive information? Now, going back to work would mean they can interfere with witnesses. They can interfere with whatever documentation the state intends to use in the initial case. And that is what the state is basically saying, to say, but you cannot have access to such sensitive information. In fact, Dumisani Khumalo is the head of crime intelligence. Now, they deal with really sensitive information. Now, this includes national security at that. And they say, but we're not interfering with the process.
He's not suspended.
Not at the moment, but he is not allowed to go to work based on the initial bail application. Now, this is where they were granted 10,000 rand bail in June. Now, this is just a day after he was arrested at OR Tambo International Airport. And they said, but you can't resume work until we've concluded this particular matter. And just to give some background into the matter, they face charges of fraud and corruption. Now, this relates to the irregular appointment of 30-year-old Dineo Mukweli, who is said not to have had the right qualifications, policing qualifications in this matter, to be the head brigadier in a department within crime intelligence. Now, and also she also faces charges of basically altering her CV to add some information that put her in a position to get that particular work.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit then about Dumisani's Khumalo's scheduling. Because judicial calendars are very complicated and they can drag out for long. And so this has now been postponed to the 6th of November, but the main case hasn't started. Do we have a date from the court secretary, registrar, about when that is expected to start, when it's expected to end? Because if it's the case that he can't go back to work till the trial is complete, it might take 2 years, might take 3 years for that to happen. It seems this will hamstring and debilitate crime intelligence quite significantly.
Definitely, and that is exactly what the defense counsel is saying, to say, but this is now hampering their rights, the accused right, because what is with all these delays? Now, you'd also remember that Khumalo made an appearance.
To be clear, these aren't urgent applications, I understand.
No, they're not. Now, the only urgent application is that of the NPA, taking the matter to the High Court. Now, this is with regards to Vusimuzi Mahlangu's recusal. That's the only urgent application that we know of at this point. Now, Khumalo, he, like you mentioned, he does have a busy schedule. He made an appearance at the Madlanga Commission and then didn't return, citing an illness. And now he had this matter to attend to, which was the question we all had to say, will he make an appearance? Will he be coming? Is he well enough now to take the stand once more? And to our surprise, he did make it to the court. And we asked him, actually, we did try to ask him. Unfortunately, he couldn't talk to us about that, to say, are you well? Are you feeling better? Are you returning to the commission?
Did he look well?
Yeah,
Did he appear to be well put together?
That is... Because unfortunately we're not medical practitioners, but from the naked eye, he looked like the Dumisani Khumalo we saw in June when he made his first appearance. So as to what kind of illness it is, we cannot really say for certain, and that's exactly why we just needed him to tell us, are you okay? Will you be making a return to the commission to continue your testimony? And what now? What is happening currently? But he was tight-lipped. He's as tight-lipped as they come, Oliver. And I think it also just really begs the question, what is currently happening? You know, we actually noticed in court that some security detail really just was scouting that area. And that was the first time we'd seen that, particularly as media, to say, but we've never seen security detail going around to check the bench, also wiping the bench, not too certain what that was about. And in fact, we have some of our colleagues, the camera people, the video journalists, specifically our video journalist who was asked by that security detail rather to say, but is there a problem? Because now everyone was just staring. And that was really uncomfortable for a number of reasons, but also really interesting. And no one would really talk to us with regards to that.
Yeah, just very lastly, has the state filed their papers in their urgent application in the High Court around the recusal of Magistrate Mahlangu? And do we have a date about when that would be heard in court?
Not at the moment, but what we do know is that they did file those papers, and that's really what we need to keep an eye out on. Will now then Vusimuzi Mahlangu return as the presiding officer? Now this causes another delay in the case, and as you said, this is one of the things with our judicial system where it could take 3 years to complete this particular case. But in those 3 years, is Dumisani Khumalo going to return to work as the head of crime intelligence?
We're going to have to leave it there. Lopang, thank you so much for that detailed report. Really do appreciate it. We're going to take a short break. On the other side of this, we continue at the top of the hour here on the Week in Review.